Question B will be taken care of by Jerry.
Okay. My name is Sergio, member of Group 8. Most market risk. I'm taking question B. Can you guys hear me?
Go
Jerry,
ahead,
we
go ahead.
can hear you.
Hello.
Jerry, continue.
Most market risk. Okay. Most market risk, financial risk, production risk, and political risk are difficult to ensure by private insurers since the probabilities of loss are difficult to assess. Insurance is founded on the notion that a vast portion of population will pay a little fee that will be deposited in a fund to reimburse the few who would incur a loss. Furthermore, it is possible to correctly predict the likelihood of loss. Um, Expropriation is a political risk that refers to circumstances in which a government takes over a foreign investment in exchange for payment. In comparison to government sector, it would be extremely difficult for private insurer to take on this type of investment because the money to be invested is a large sum, and no other income is generated elsewhere to run the business. This makes insuring this okay run run the business. This makes insuring by private insurers extremely difficult. Um, Question C, chance. So question C is telling us to what define chance of loss. So chance of loss is defined as probability that an event will occur, like risk probability has both objective and subjective aspects. So we define
Can any member of Group 8 continue?
Sir, please, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry, my network is fluctuating over here. I'm very sorry, sir.
Okay.
Sir, question C, chance of loss. Chance of loss can be defined. For here, we define it as probability that an event will occur, as the probability that an event will occur, like risk. Probability has both objective and subjective aspects. B, we're told to define. We're told to
Can any member in Group 8 continue? Okay, Jerry, we are having difficulty with hearing you. So any member from Group 8 continue so we can move on. Okay. In any way, you are also being assessed, right? So any member of the group should continue. So we can put on your scores.
Hello, sir, please, I'm back.
Continue.
Okay. We're told to explain briefly explain each of the following risk control technique for managing risk. That is avoidance, loss prevention, and loss reduction. So avoidance in risk. Avoidance in risk relation is risk management. Is the elimination of hazard activities and exposures that can negatively affect an organization and its assets. And loss prevention is the act of proactive measures to prevent or abate identified risk, which, if left if left unmitigated, may result in university claim expenditures. Loss reduction refers to control activity focused on reducing the severity of losses. Severity of losses. Retention. Can everybody hear me? Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
continue.
Oh, okay.
Elman, your time is up. You get me?
Sorry. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm very sorry.
Your time is up. So,
Should I continue?
The next 1 minute.
Please, people who have correct network should continue. Why? My network is messing up over here.
All right, don't worry. Let me continue. So we are
Okay.
we are briefly explaining each of the following risk financing techniques for managing risk: retention, non-insurance transfer, and then insurance. So the retention is a risk management technique in which a company facing a risk or risk decides to absorb or accept and decides to absorb or accept any and all potential losses rather than transfer the risk to an insurer or other party. It means that no outside financing option is sought out. The business would be responsible for all costs and damages that occurs as a result of a crisis, accident, or other unforeseen incident that can result in losses. So the non-insurance transfer, the transfer of risks from one party to another party other than an insurance company. The risk management technique usually involves risk transfers by way of hold harmless indemnity and insurance provisions in contract and it's also called contractual risk transfer. Yeah. So the insurance. Insurance is a means of protection from financial losses. Here. It is a form of risk management primarily used to hedge against the risk of contingent or uncertain loss. The insurance transaction involves the policyholder assuming a guaranteed, known, and relatively small loss in the form of payment to the insurer in exchange for the insurer's promise to compensate the insured in the event of a covered loss. This loss may be a loss. The loss may be not financial, but must be reducible to financial terms and usually involves something in which the insured has an insurable interest established by ownership, possession, or pre-existing relationship. Hello? Was anybody hearing me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, so I'm done. That is all the questions, right?
Okay, thank you. Okay. So group one. Let's hear you, group one.
Group one, Ernest. I'm ready. Can you move to the question, please?
Your time is ticking. Hurry up.
The question.
Please, this is what was sent to me, so there's no question in it. So you can.
I go to the I, please.
Please, I didn't get you.
It's fine. So the question says we should assume that the chance of loss is different fleet of sharks. Assume how it is possible that objective risks for both fleets is different, even though the chance of loss is identical. So okay. Question 1. The relative variation of actual loss and expected loss is called objective risk. It is also known as degree of risk difference because the weight of one fleet may differ from the other fleet, and there may also be some variations in terms of distance to cover. So the risk can be greater of first fleet than the second one, and vice versa. Chance of loss is the probability that an event results in a loss will occur. Chance of loss can be identical for both the fleets because the possibility that something can go wrong is same for both fleets. It is possible that chance of loss for two different groups is identical, but the objective risk is different. For example, let's assume that both the fleets have 1,000 sharks. The chance of loss for the two fleets is 3%. That's alpha losses. Please, I'm still reading. Okay. Ernest. However, if the annual variation in loss,
Sharon,
yes.
We are not listening to news. Talk to us. Don't read.
Okay, sir. Ernest, please, question I. Please go back. Okay. So I'm taking it from that chance for two different groups is identical, but the objective risk is different. So, for example, let's assume that both the fleets have 1,000 sharks. The chance of loss for the two fleets is 3%. So, on an average, 30 sharks will suffer losses. However, if the annual variation in losses ranges from 27 to 23 in case of one fleet of sharks and from 24 to 36 in case of another, the objective risk in case of one fleet is 3% and in case of the second fleet is 6%, even though the chance of loss for both the fleets is identical. I, please. Okay, so the the type of risks that occurred is non-diversifiable risks or systematic risks. It refers to as risks which is common to a whole class of assets and liability. The Department of American Security must cope a wide variety of additional risks, that is foreign loss exposure, such as acts of terrorism. So I'm explaining what pure risk is, a category of risks in which the only possible outcome is loss. Here, let's say a house can be damaged due to fire outbreak, and it is expensive to replace. In this case, the only outcome of the fire outbreak is that please I. I'm explaining major personal risks. Is the no, please, then yeah. Poor health and disability of family head is major personal risk that can cause great economic insecurity, and it may lead to loss of income. And so speculative risk, the investor will profit if the risk of stock increases, but will lose if the prices decline. So I'm going to end here and hand over to Simon Kwashi. Okay, Simon said it's network, so Rani should continue. Please, group one, Rani.
Okay, so non-diversible risks. Large number of people may lose their home as a result of flood plain. Here, the risk is not under house owner control and also difficult to mitigate. Then we continue with the non-diversible. Large number of home buyers will be affected by the raises of interest rates and higher mortgage payment. This can slow down safe our homes. Yes, please, can you continue? Hello.
Yes.
Okay, so we continue with the speculative risks. It is a category of risks that can be taken on voluntarily and will either result in profit or loss. Playing the slot machine at casino would ultimately result in an unknown success or failure. And so with profit and losses are possible at outcome. Then the litigation risks. Here, the surgeon may face a lawsuit as a result of his or her negligence that may have led to the death of a patient.
Are you done?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Group 3.
Ernest, please, can you share the slide for us? Ernest.
Hello, class rep.
Please share the slide for us.
Please, I
Group
can't
3.
find your work here. Your work is not here.
Yo, please, Ben sent it to you. So.
It's not here.
Yeah, Ernest, I sent it to you. Check your WhatsApp.
What's your last number?
86, 86, 86. You watched it. You protect me. Have you find it? Or I should text you for you to see it?
Okay, I've seen it. Group 3.
Okay.
Good evening, sir. Please, I'm Richard and a member of Group 3, and then we are presenting on.
Move straight to your presentation. Okay.
Okay. We are to identify a private insurance coverage that will provide a desired protection. And then the first question is Emily, age 28, is a single parent with 2 dependent children. She wants to make certain that funds are available for her children's education if she dies before her youngest. If she dies before her youngest child finishes college. And then this is a life insurance coverage that she have to provide for the children in case she passes away. And then life insurance is a contract between an insurance company in which the insurer promises to pay a sum of money in exchange for a premium upon the death of an insured person or after a specified length of time. Life insurance can provide the needed funds of college education for Emily children in case she dies before her youngest child finishes college. And then we move on to the second question. Daniela, age 16, recently obtained her driver's license. Her parents want to make certain they are protected if Daniela negligently injures another motorist while driving a family car. And this one is about liability auto insurance. This is a safeguard against a driver's personal asset in the event that they can cause an accident that results in bodily harm or property damage to another. Auto liability insurance will protect the parent if Daniela negligently injures someone while driving a family car. We'll move on to C. Jacob, age 30, is married with 2 dependents. He wants his income to continue if he becomes totally disabled and unable to work. And with this, we are looking at disability insurance. Disability insurance provides income in the event that a policy holder is prevented from working and earning an income due to a disability. An individual or a group disability income policy will provide periodic income payment if Jacobs becomes totally disabled. We look at Taylor, age 35, recently purchased a house for 200,000 Ghana cedis. That is in an area where thunderstorms frequently occur. He wants to make certain that funds are available if the house is damaged or destroyed by a thunderstorm. With this, we are looking at homeowners insurance. And this is a type of home insurance that covers losses and damages to a person's home, as well as their belongings and other valuables. A homeowner's policy will provide the desired protection. Windstorm and hurricanes are covered perils. We will look at the last one. Nathan, age 40, owns an upscale furniture store. Nathan wants to be protected if a customer is injured while shopping in the store and sues him for the bodily injury. And this is a liability commercial insurance. This insurance covers common business risks like customer injury, customer property damage, and advertising injury. A commercial general liability insurance will cover Nathan if a customer is injured in a store. And we go on to the II. And please, can you move to the next slide for me? And we have to look at the differences between pure risks and then speculative risks. And please go back. Yeah. It's okay. A risk is a certainty arising from the possible occurrences a given situation. It is the possible of loss, injury, or any other adverse condition in the present or future situation involving exposure to hazard or danger. Risk is divided into 4 main categories, but 2 are explained in this work, which is we have to look at the difference between pure risks and then speculative risks. And that is just for the meaning of risks. Please move to the next slide. Pure risks tend to be out of the person's control. That's the people. Unless they are suicidal, do not intentionally put themselves in a situation that is all downside and no upside. They can be personal, being saved by an explosion at a chemical plant a few miles down the road, or property, a tornado wipe out your house, or legal being sued because someone claims something you posted on the internet constitutes hate speech. Here's the next slide. And then we look at the speculative risks. It's a risk that is undertaken because of conscious choice and has the potential to result in a certain degree of gain or loss. However, there are 3 possible outcomes in speculative risks, which are loss, gain, and staying even with neither gain nor loss. Investing in the stock market is one of the examples of speculative risks. Investments are the classic case of speculative risks. You might end up behind, but you may also end up ahead. There are degrees of speculative risks. If you invest in, let's say, the US savings bonds, and if you invest in the most volatile of junk bonds, both involves in speculative risks that you may lose your money, but they are not thereby equal. The chances of that loss occurring are very close to 0. In the second case, the chances of that losing occurring are fairly high. Please, the next slide. Okay, another example. Having sex with an intruding stranger is a speculative risk. You might have the best sex of your life. You might fall in love. You might so impress the person with your prowess that the name you the sole beneficiary of their will, die the next day, turn out to be a billionaire. On the other hand, you might get an STD. The sex might result in unwanted pregnancy. There might be a hidden camera present that will be used to blackmail you. You might fall for the person and get your heart broken, and so on. Please, the next slide. And we move on to the last question, which how does diversifiable risks differ from non-diversifiable risks? And non-diversifiable risks are applicable to the entire class of assets or liability. The value of an investment in a non-diversifiable risk declines over the period due to any other change that affects the major portion of the market, such as changes in the economic conditions of the country. And this is also known as a systematic risks or market risks, as the risks are concerned with the market condition. The notable factor that to consider is that the total risks or the non-diversifiable risks and diversifiable risks are related to each other, because non-diversifiable and diversifiable risks are part of total risks. Please move on. Please, the next slide.
That's all.
All right. Sir, please also. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So stop sharing. Okay, stop sharing your slide. Thank you very much for having this presentation. Yes, we've had some ups, we've had some downs with internet connections here and there. But then at the end of the day, I think we are done with the part 1 presentation.
Sir, please, group 4 didn't present.
Group 4, 1,
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Group 4 did. Esther and Carl, they did.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Group 4 did. Esther and Carl, they did. Yeah, so the marks are ready. Let me put the marks out. Right. Group 1 had 7/10.
7/10. Group 1. Wow.
Group 2 had 7/10. Group 3 had 8/10. Group 4 had 6/10. Group 5 had 9/10. Group 6 had 8/10. Group 7 had 8/10. And Group 8 also had 8/10. So this is for the oral presentation. Now, the group should put the work together in the PowerPoint that you presented and send to the class rep, Ernest, for Ernest to send it in bulk to me. So the 2 works that you have done, put all together and send them to me. The first page should be the page of members who participated in, the first page should be the name of members and their IDs, their index numbers of members who participated in the work. Members who did not, don't add their names. In case anybody did not participate, don't add the person's name to the list you'll be sending to Ernest to be sent to me. Is that okay? Yes, so that's it for Now there. So what you are to send is that send the first work, what we presented today. The second part of the work will be presented next week. What I expect you to do, I've placed it on the platform, right? You have to develop your questions. Eventually, you should be able to establish the relationship between the DV plate, the insurance, and the vehicle. Now, the questions that when you go out there, you have to find out includes the validity of a DV plate, the insurance on a DV plate. Is it for the vehicle or for the plate or for the book? Now, if a DV plate is used on a car, and let's say the car is involved in an accident at Nsawam, and maybe 1 week time, in a week's time, the plate was on another car, and that car too was involved in an accident. What is the implication for insurance? The same plate being used on different cars and all being involved in an accident at different times. Like there's what we call mutually exclusive events. What is the implication? These are many more that I want you to find out from your respondent. You are interviewing 5 business operators, 3 insurance operators. Each group, and then 3 police officers. The 3 police officers, an insurance company, and then 5 business owners. So the business owners are those who run the DV plates. You find them at 37 or the garages, right? And these are the things that I expect you to ask them about the DV plate, right? What's the conditions for the DV plate, the relationship between the DV plate and the insurance, and then in case of multiple accidents with the same plates with different numbers, right? Under what condition is the DV plate issued? Is the DV plate transferable? If it's transferable, what are the conditions that must be met, right? These and many more are the issues that I want the group to work on. I'm not saying go and sit somewhere and write them and bring it. Go to the phone, talk to them, and then get the feedback, right? If you are not, get to them. The police officers, some are your friends, some of them you are staying at home with them. Do you get me? Talk to them. Okay, it's not everything that is should go through official channels, right? Talk to your friends who are police officers who are willing to give you information. You get me? Yes, we want the practicality of the information, not what I've been reading, like what have been written in books or in the status that they are talking about. The practical reality, what is happening and what is the issue. And in situation of any unforeseen event, what is the implication? You get me? I want the group to work hard and defend your IE scores on this, right? So the first one, we've had this session already. So I'm waiting for the group to send me the members that participated in it, and then ensure that members who did not take part in the work, their index numbers and names don't appear. Ensure that, and then let me have them, right? So, Ernest.
Sir.
Yes, you have up to Monday to send the entire class work to me. Up to Monday.
Okay, sir.
Yes, so all you just have to do is to forward the work to Ernest, and then Ernest send it to my email. To my email, not to WhatsApp. WhatsApp, I can't keep of it. So send it to the email. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And then notify me when you send it so that I can download and then award the marks individually. Okay. So next week, Golan will be the presentation for the second assignment, right? And again, you should also select 2 people. The group should select 2 people who will present, so that once we start, we will start straight up. Okay, and we also start on time. Okay. Is there any question? Is there any question? Any concerns? Any issue?
Yes, sir. Please. It's me, Ernest Dankwa. I would like to plead with you to send an ID to us if it's possible, so that we can log on to a different device and use your phone separately for other things, please.
That is possible. However, there have also been reports that people say, like once it's open and it's not registered, we have people who they give it to people who are not students, and then they enter and they somehow disturb. It becomes very difficult for you to identify a particular candidate. You get me? Yes.
Okay.
And therefore, try as much as you can to get on board. When you come and I call your name and you've put the whole proceedings on mute and you are doing something else, I will take you off the platform and you will not be able to enter the class again. You get me? So I want at least your microphones are off, but I expect you to be listening so that once your attention is called, you should be able to respond. And I will call at random, right? Again, to also avoid people who are non-students also joining. And again, not just non-students, people who are not in the class also joining. You get me? Mm-hmm. So Ernest, are you okay with that?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. So try and register and then join. Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Sure.
So then we call it off to Monday, to next week. However, the group should work together, put the work together, polish it up before sending it to me. Group 6, group 1, 2, 3, 4. Group 4, you did poor work today, right? You did poor work today. The instructions were clear that present your work in PowerPoint, not on a Word document. Okay. Listen to the instructions. If I'm asking you to present a work in PowerPoint, don't present your work on a Word document. Okay. So prepare the work in the PowerPoint and then send it to Ernest to be sent to me. So I'm now going to mark the work itself and identify the members and locate the marks accordingly. Okay. Okay. Then we'll call the class off to next week. Bye-bye.
Sir.
Recording stopped.